Do something with your life. Do something with your life. Do something with your life.
With your life.
Hi, Room 21 Rockstar families, and welcome to our weekly VODCAST on this absolutely beautiful day in February. I hope you're all enjoying the great weather outside because it looks like it's about to get cold again. So, I have a ton of announcements to get to this week, and then I'm going to send you off to the strategy session. First of all, I'd like to congratulate this week's Rockstar of the Week. That is Elisa Padilla. Elisa has really been growing with her confidence and in taking the ideals of the Barrett Academy Constitution and implementing them on a daily basis. You know, her work with the younger kids in her house during academy time has been all awesome, and for that, Elisa has been named this week's Rockstar of the Week. Congratulations, Elisa. Now, really quickly, we are selling the candy grams again this year, 25 cents, if students would like to have a Valentine message sent to another person in the building, another teacher, staff member, or student. Well, that form was sent home last week. Your rock star can get another one this week if they'd like. We're also going to have a table set up down in the hallway, though the deadline for that is on by the end of the day, Wednesday, and the candy grams will be delivered Friday afternoon. Now, I'm sure you're also wondering, is Room 21 going to have any type of activities for Valentine's Day? I will let the kids decorate a bag that I got them, and they can also pass out any Valentines if they would like at the end of the day. So that will be on Friday. I'll send home a list tomorrow with student names if they're interested in that. But we're not really going to have a great big celebration. But if students would like to pass out Valentines at the end of the day, they may do so on Friday. Now, our family night is coming up in 17 days from tomorrow. It's on February 26th, 2015, 6 to 7:30 p.m. It is the House Spirit Edition. We want you to come dressed in the color of your scholar's house. It is going to be a night full of surprises. We're also going to have a potluck. So please just return that RSVP form by next Tuesday so we can get a good handle on who's able to make it. But it is going to be an amazing night, and a great way for the scholars to kind of introduce you to their house and, you know, induct you into their house as well. So we're hoping that you can make it February 26th. That's a Thursday, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Barrett. That is our next Barrett Academy family night. Looking ahead, we do have school off next Monday for President's Day, so no school next Monday, February 16th, and then that Saturday, 1 week from this coming Saturday, February 21st, we have our trip to the Holocaust Museum up in Washington, D.C. So I will be sending home a more detailed flyer with information about the trip and all of those things in the coming days. And I'm also going to be asking your scholar to kind of familiarize themselves with the Holocaust Museum. I'm going to provide them a little bit of reading so that they can see what we're going to be visiting, what we're going to be seeing, and different things like that. If your scholar can still bring in their permission form, and, you know, in terms of the money, as long as that's turned in sometime by Friday, February 20th, we're all good. So I'm looking forward to the Holocaust trip so much, Rockstar families. If you have any questions about that, please let me know, and I'd be more than happy to answer them. And I think that covers all of our announcements for the week. I'm going to send you over to the strategy session, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Okay, Room 21 Rockstar, so I'm going to start you off today on our class Fusion page, and I'm at this area of the Fusion page on purpose because I just kind of want us to look at this page and see, kind of observe, do we see any triangles on this page? Just look. Do you guys see any triangles just kind of sticking out? Could even scroll it up a little bit more if I need to. Well, I see a bunch. I see one right here on the building. Okay. I also see one right here. Let me thin my line a little bit more. On the Room 21 Rockstar star, each of the points of the star is kind of a triangle. Do you guys see any others? Here's one right here. This little drop-down key, okay? So they're kind of all over, right? So I have a challenge for you guys this week, and I'm going to put a ton of house points on it because I really think it's important to see these triangles in real life, to see them everywhere we're going, and then to, identify them as such. Because if the builders or whoever built the school did not make this triangle the way that they had intended, with the appropriate side lengths and appropriate angles within the triangle, the building would probably not withstand the pressure, and that part of the building could potentially fall down. So those types of things are really, really important. So here's my challenge to you guys. I want you to find a triangle anywhere, okay? So step one, find a triangle in real life. You can either take a picture of it. So number two, take a pic, and you could tweet it to us if you have a Twitter account, or draw it, okay? So you might, now I know if you're not an artist, that's fine, I'm not either, but, draw it, say where you found it, things like that. And then I'd like you to identify it in two ways. Identify it based on side length, and then identify it based on the angle measure within the triangle. So identify that triangle based on side length, and then identify that triangle based on angle measure. Bring that in. I will give you 5 house points for every real-life triangle that you find somewhere in your house, outside, on the way to school, on the bus, anywhere. Take a picture of it or draw it, and then identify it based on side length and angle measure, and I'll give you 5 house points per photograph you have. Now, if you bring in the photos, I really want to post those so that excuse me, the rest of the class can really see how triangles are everywhere within our life, and how the different angle measures and side lengths are really, really important to those structures or anything else that you can think of where they're at. To the safety of the building. So that's my first challenge to you guys. Now, I have a bunch of different resources down here under class news this week that are going to help you to perfect and master all of the things we've been talking about with triangles. So I have a bunch of different sites. Check them out. So these 2 sites right here, the ones I'm starring, this one is IXL based on triangle side length, and then this site is IXL based on angle measure. Okay, so let's just dive into the one really quickly. Let's go into the side length one. So what are the 3 ways, guys? You remember, how do we identify a triangle based on side length? We have isosceles, we have scalene, and we have equilateral. So if I look at this triangle right here, it says each side length is 15. So it's asking you, the question right here is this triangle scalene? Well, I know that a scalene triangle has 3 different side lengths, so I know in my mind that this is not scalene, it's actually equilateral. Okay, so this will help you in identifying triangles as either scalene, isosceles, or equilateral. Okay, all I'm asking you to do is draw the triangle, write whatever they have here, and identify it for the points. And you can get a house point for each one you do. Okay, so that's identifying triangles based on side length. Now I'm going to take you back to the Class Fusion page, and I want us to look at identifying triangles based on angle measure. And that's the same site. Okay, so we're identifying triangles based on angle measure. This time you're simply looking at the angles. Now, a few things you have to keep in mind when you're dealing with triangles that have angles this small. That measure there means the measure of this angle, 64 degrees equals a measure of that angle. And this angle here they're identifying as a 90-degree right angle. So they're saying, what kind of triangle is this? Well, I know anytime that I have at least one right angle, I can only have one right angle, right, guys? In a triangle, I have myself a right triangle. Okay, in an acute triangle, I need 3 acute angles. In an obtuse triangle, I need at least 1 obtuse angle. So that would be there. Same thing goes for this one. You can get a house point for each. Just draw the triangle with the angle measures and identify it based on angle measure, and I'll give you a house point each. These are just really great ways to practice and get that vocabulary down, guys, because now I want it to really become automatic for you, especially as we're getting into quadrilaterals. Okay, and I have one more site that's a lot of fun. This is kind of mixing both side length and angle measure. And this is a classifying triangles drag and drop game. All that you do here, okay, is you have to pick up one of the triangles and then identify it as acute, right, or obtuse. So right now I'm looking at angles. I see a right angle here, or maybe that's not a right angle. That must be an obtuse angle. There we go, it is a right angle. Okay, so then you pick up the triangle and you scooch it in. This one would be acute, it has 3 acute angles. Here's a right, and you keep going, and then they give you time and different things like that. I'm not going to give house points for this, but once again, that would be a good way of just kind of looking at triangles quickly and identifying them based upon side length. Okay, So a bunch of cool ways that you can do that right there. Now I'm still going to leave open for you guys, and I'll give house points for them using a protractor to measure angles right here. Okay, what I had on the VODCAST last week. If you're still struggling, or you still want to master and make sure you totally have it down how to measure an angle with a protractor, those two sites would be great. Same thing, just show your work on a piece of paper. I'll give you a house point for each of those. Okay. My hashtag for the week is hashtag double everything, which means all your house points you earn on the VODCAST this week, you get to multiply by 2. So a pretty big deal. Hashtag double everything, and you even get to double the hashtag code, which is typically 5. You can get 10 off of it since this week is hashtag double everything. So those are the math sites I have for you guys. Toward the middle of the week, we're going to transition over to quadrilaterals. So you really want to make sure that you have the triangles down, both classifying triangles by side length and classifying triangles by angle measure. Really, 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 really important that you have both of those down. Now for reading, I have the same activity I had last week. I'm not sure anybody took advantage of it, so I'm going to keep it up here, and I actually have the directions here for you as well. Okay, so basically you go to this YouTube site and watch this video. This video is called For the Birds. It's by Pixar. Okay, and then all I want you to do is identify the cause and effect. There are multiple examples in that video of cause and effect within, and you can get yourself 5 house points. So remember, cause is why it happened, and I have that written here, and effect is what happened. Okay, so what happened? It was beautiful outside. Or here's an effect. Mr. Reichert opened his windows today. The cause, why did it happen? Well, it was 60 degrees outside. It was beautiful. Okay, so really practice those situations with cause and effect, and that video is a great way for you to continue practicing that at home. Okay, the writing fix of the week is the same as well. I'm really looking at this, especially since we are crowning our head of house leaders tomorrow for the 3rd quarter. That will be pretty cool to watch and find out who will be representing your house on our house council. But this question kind of goes along with that, and I want you to try to use some figurative language here. It would be cool if you would challenge yourself to maybe try different voices in your writing. So maybe write one of them totally excited, ready to rock and roll, and maybe one of them in another voice, okay? I think that would be cool to kind of challenge yourself. You can get those house points there. And with social studies, we're doing a really cool simulation all week long for the 13 colonies. We're going to be exploring some primary documents, some actual artifacts, some photographs from the New England, Mid-Atlantic, and Southern colonies. And remember, if you get that song down by the end of day Tuesday, you get yourself 40 house points, like I said, guys. So you really want to work on that, okay? Now I'm going to send you back over to, before I send you back over, I just wanted to point out to you guys something really quickly. Number one, our family night is in 17 days. You're going to hear me say that 100 times. But I do have the link. If your parents are willing to help set up or donate extra supplies, they can visit this Sign Up Genius link right here, and they will actually find what we're looking for that night. Okay, so some people have already signed up. We're looking for these supplies and also the setup and cleanup of the potluck. It's going to be an incredibly amazing night, but we're going to need a ton of assistance as well to make sure that the night is totally successful. So if they're able to lend an extra hand there, that link is available as well. Now I'm going to send you back over to Mr. Reichert. Okay, Room 21 Rockstar families, I hope that those strategies were successful. We have another full week of learning ready to kick off in Room 21. I cannot wait for it. I hope your scholar is excited as I am. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, do not hesitate to contact me. You can follow us on Twitter at ReichertRock. Check out our class YouTube page, Mr. Reichert's Rockstars. And our Class Fusion page always has a ton of different announcements and strategies as well. As always, you are the best families in Stafford County, and I'll see you there.
With your life. We broke down, trying to leave town, fly